What if I told you that powerful nations are secretly negotiating the mass displacement of Palestinians? A plan so shocking, so morally questionable, that even some of America's closest allies are refusing to take part in it. A plan that doesn't just threaten the people of Gaza, but could destabilize entire African nations. And here's the big question. Why are the US and Israel trying to send Palestinians to Africa while ignoring their wealthy Arab neighbors? Stay with me, because what we're about to reveal will change how you see global politics forever. Before we continue, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. It really helps the channel grow. Now, let's get back to it. The hidden plan to empty Gaza. The US and Israel have reportedly approached several African countries, including Sudan, Somalia, and Somaliland, about relocating Palestinians from Gaza. And this isn't just a vague idea. Israel has already set up a special government office dedicated to voluntary immigration of Gazans. But let's be real, how voluntary is it when your home has been bombed to rubble? Over 50,000 Palestinians have already been killed. Hospitals, schools, entire neighborhoods destroyed. Millions displaced, with nowhere to go. And instead of rebuilding Gaza, Israel and the US are now discussing kicking out its people forever? And here's where it gets even crazier. Trump himself shared an AI-generated vision of a future Gaza, a luxury paradise with golden beaches, 5-star hotels, and massive casinos. But do you know what was missing? Palestinians. So, the question is, who is Gaza really being built for? And why is the West trying to dump Palestinians thousands of miles away in Africa, instead of sending them to the Middle East? Why are Arab countries rejecting this plan? Let's talk about the elephant in the room. If the goal was to resettle Palestinians, why aren't their own Arab neighbors stepping in? Let's break it down. Saudi Arabia, one of the richest nations on earth. It has vast amounts of land and billions in oil wealth. Yet it has refused to take in Palestinian refugees. United Arab Emirates, UAE, another oil-rich state, filled with empty luxury skyscrapers that could house millions. But no interest in taking Palestinians. Egypt and Jordan, two countries that have historically hosted Palestinian refugees. Yet they are vehemently against taking in more. Why? Because they know the truth, this isn't just about resettlement. It's about ethnic cleansing, permanently removing Palestinians from their homeland. It's about making sure they never return. And Arab countries aren't willing to be complicit in that. Even nations that have diplomatic ties with Israel, like Egypt and Jordan, have strongly condemned this plan as a direct threat to regional stability. So if even the wealthiest Arab states are saying no, why is the West turning to Africa? Why Africa must be careful? Now, let's talk about Africa. Because this is where the story takes a disturbing turn. The US and Israel have reportedly reached out to Somalia, a country already struggling with civil war and poverty. Sudan, a nation in the middle of a brutal conflict, with its own millions of displaced refugees. Somaliland, a breakaway region desperate for international recognition. And here's the danger. Accepting Palestinian refugees might sound like a humanitarian move. But in reality, it could destabilize these nations beyond repair. Somaliland's own president has rejected the idea, knowing that it could bring serious internal backlash. Sudan is already overwhelmed with its own crisis, millions displaced, war raging on, food shortages at catastrophic levels. Somalia faces constant attacks from extremist groups, and adding an entirely new refugee crisis could push it over the edge. So why would the US and Israel even suggest this? Because they don't care about Africa's stability. This isn't about humanitarian aid. This is about power, control, and military influence. Think about it. The US has long wanted a stronger military foothold in East Africa. And Somaliland? It's located near the Red Sea, a critical trade route. If the US recognizes Somaliland in exchange for taking Palestinians, it gets a military base there. And suddenly, the US has more control over global trade routes and influence in Africa. And what about Israel? Getting rid of Palestinians helps it expand settlements in Gaza and the West Bank. It removes the Palestinian problem from Israeli politics. And it strengthens Netanyahu's grip on power. This isn't about refugees. This is about geopolitical chess. What happens next? The world is watching. Arab nations have rejected this plan. African leaders are hesitant. Human rights groups are calling it ethnic cleansing. And even Trump himself has backtracked, saying, "Nobody's expelling Palestinians." But actions speak louder than words. The world must stay vigilant. Because if this plan moves forward, millions of Palestinians could be forced into exile. Africa could be destabilized for decades. And the Middle East could be permanently reshaped. What do you think? Should the world allow this forced displacement? Should Africa reject being used as a dumping ground? Drop a comment below and let's discuss. Like, share, and subscribe if you want more in-depth analysis on global politics. Because the truth deserves to be heard.